Woohoo! It is the morning cup.
Good morning, work wife.
Good morning. So on today's show, this is going to be very fun, as they always are. Welcome to the morning cup. It is Thursday, the day after Green Day, literally. And we are going to be talking, our hot topic is really with three ladies who we're bringing on to talk about how they have swiveled. And we're talking real talk about what they've done in their businesses, what they're how they're helping their clients and how they're helping themselves to become a sustainable company in this time, because we're just over the edge, people. We're so close. So we'll be talking to those three second act badass women. We're also going to be speaking about the digital platforms that were really hot the other day, the workshop that I gave. So we're going to talk about Google Keep, PDF for form filler. And let me tell you, there is so much money to be made with fillable forms for your clients, for your business, what have you. Trust me, Google it in Etsy, small business plans and things. You'll be surprised. We'll talk about that and how that can generate passive income, as well as StreamYard. I'm going to show you a few tricks if I'm able to, if you are a live streamer. So welcome to the morning cup. Are we ready to get this party started?
Bring it on, girl. Bring it on.
Bring it on. Now, you know what we have to talk about first off. Here we go. Here we go. What? What? And where is this also? In Forbes today.
Yes. I mean, huge shout out to Carrie Hannon. Beyond excited. Ladies, I mean, this was the way to start the morning.
We made it into not only this fabulous publication, digital publication, with over 70 million people that watch or read, I should say, this publication, Next Avenue, globally. And it's also, I just recognized, a part of PBS. Yeah, but also this same interview that Lupe and I gave last week was also repurposed to Forbes. Yes, I said it.
I'm so beyond excited.
Are in Forbes.
I mean, and you know what's beautiful too is I love how she, created the introduction and set the stage, and then it was just a back and forth between you and I, how we usually do things, making the case for why our amazing community matters.
Yeah.
And why we're doing this. And it just had all heart and mission, and it was just a beautiful write-up. So we will post it into our Facebook group so y'all can check it out. And we'd love some sharing and just, revalidating that we matter. And the more that you guys can share on your social platforms, helping us raise awareness, we would be ever grateful.
And, that's the point, everyone. That is the point. We do these stories. We pitch these stories. Sometimes they come to us, like the one that we're doing later today with Colorado Public Radio. And it's because they're hearing your stories. And we are simply the vessel. That's really what we consider ourselves, as the company that has found their passion to help you. But really, the message that we're always trying to give is that whenever you see the word we or community, we're not talking we as in Lupe and I. No. We're talking about we, including our special guest today, we as a community of women. And let's face it, men too, that are over 40 and 50 that are feeling invisible. And especially right now during the pandemic, the she session that's going on, it is damaging us women, specifically Gen Xers and boomers. And so when we tell these stories and do these podcasts, it's on behalf of you. We just happen to be marketing and public relations specialists, that this is our jam, this is our wheelhouse, and we are more than excited to share your stories, which is why we did what? Yesterday, we posted to Facebook and said, we want to hear from you. Yeah. We want to share your stories in these media interviews. It's about us.
Absolutely. And I think now is the time that, there is definitely a more interest. Like The Guardian just did a piece on over 40 as well, too, that I'm going to share a little later into our community. That's just talking about, I think people are finally starting to get it. that it's not all of a sudden you hit a certain age and you're going to go dark. I think people are starting to see that actually, wow, something is awry. Something's going on here. And what's beautiful is that now that in tandem with organizations like ours that are out there, you know, hitting the pavement, you know, making the noise to say, hey, we're still around, we're still doing awesome things. I feel like it's at a turning point where people are starting to sit up, pay attention a little bit more. So now is a really pivotal time for us to own our, you know, awesomeness, own what we're doing both personally and professionally, and share it so that everyone knows what we are capable of and that we are fierce and a force to the bone.
Boom, through to the bone. And speaking of, well, not speaking of, but pivoting for a quick moment, because you know I love a good squirrel moment. I don't know.
We know, girl, we know.
Let me just share what I'm wearing today. And there's something special about it, and I've done it before. So I got so excited this morning. I got up, and I always pick up my cell and I read, and this is how I catch up and do a little learning and all of that. And I was reading the article, and it became 8:15, and I'm like, "Ooh, SH." Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Holy shit! I gotta get dressed.
Girl, that's why my hair pulled back.
I rolled out of bed. Right? I rolled out of bed, and I have my house dress on that I slept in.
But you're always looking so saucy.
And I popped it on with a Target scarf that I got for $1.99.
I feel like that's actually a Zoom hack. That could be a really cute, like, I mean, honestly, you know, you could kind of wear something casual. It's, what is that? You know, a little fun kind of going on. It's still, you know, a smidge.
I got party, you know, party on below and business on top. And then I also snapped in a few hair pieces because I put my hair up as a protective. So when you see people wearing weaves, a lot of times we're doing it also to protect our natural hair. So I had just put a weave in. Yes, I'm doing a squirrel moment a couple of weeks ago because my hair has gotten so long in a great way. It's really hard to grow my hair. And when it does, you know, I got to keep it protected. So I decided to put it up. So.
All right. Well, Merlinda wants to give you a shout out and say you're still winning. So keep it going, girl.
Yes, queen. Yes. All right. So speaking of hair and makeup, let's talk about really quick the 3 E's and what Laura Geller did for us last week and what she has for you that are watching.
Yes, girl. She had so many amazing tips. If you subscribe to our newsletter, you will have read some pretty awesome tips that she shared. Thanks to my amazing work wife, I actually got a little makeover and some tips personally from her, so which was fabulous. But I'm going to give you my top 2, and then you can chime in with your top 2, Bart. Mine was basically using your ring finger. So apparently, your ring finger is the least strongest finger on your hand.
Hot flash.
So, yeah. So I usually would kind of go on, and I went like, you know.
You were like this last week.
When I was putting on the foundation or the cover up underneath that goes underneath your eye, the highlighter, shall we say. But she says if you dab along the way, you just kind of work your product in, and actually it allows you to come up even closer to your eye because you're not putting so much pressure. It actually blends in. And obviously is a little bit more gentle underneath your eye, which we all want to take care of the skin underneath our eye. So I thought that was my big aha moment for me on the first one. And then the second one is I'm notorious for picking up product and then blowing my product off my brush. And I've done this, I don't know, for ages. And I started to still do it today. And I was like, no, you have to dab it. So my thing is, she said that, you don't want to spit on your brush because obviously we've got germs in our mouth and we don't want to put spit on our brush and then put spit on our face. So you're supposed to take your brush, you pick up your product and you dab it, you tap it, shall I say, against your hand or the table, whatever it might be, to get whatever loose excess product you have. And then you can apply. So those were my 2 big ahas.
Yes. Can I tell you about that? I used to wonder why in the hell, because I have loved makeup since my mom allowed me to wear it in really going into high school. I was allowed to wear the basics and I come from a typical Christian family, people. And so I thought it was a waste always when I'd watch these YouTubers doing the taking and tapping the excess off. Now I get why you do that because you don't want it to drop underneath here. But what I started doing is I just tap it right back into the same color so I can reuse it.
There you go.
I'm not going to tap it on the floor, on the desk or whatever.
Genius.
Genius. All right. So the things that I liked that I agree with that I'm going to start using, because there are times, let's face it, where we just, more than a couple times a week, we don't want to put makeup on. Mm-hmm. For those of us that like makeup, are her 3 E's. I thought this was really good. And I should have already known this. We should have already known this. It is your eyelashes. And no, you don't have to put falsies on, although I have half falsies on.
Always rock the falsies.
Yeah. But put your eyelashes on, your eyeliner on, and your brows. You have to frame the face. You have to frame the face. So especially now that we're wearing masks. Now you've got, as Tyler Squirrel. Pull it back in. Pull it back in. Anywho, is the framing the face. Yeah. So that was mine. And then lastly, get that mirror and sit down and put your makeup on.
Oh, that was another genius one too.
Okay. So share with them the deal that Laura has for the ladies today. And Jen, this is Women X. Hello.
Yeah, no, ladies, tomorrow is the last day. She was so generous to offer us an exclusive promo to save 25% on her makeup, which is fabulous. If you need brushes, her brushes are to die for soft. You can save 25% with SA25. Be sure to get your order in before tomorrow, the 19th, to take advantage of this just stellar deal.
Yeah, and I got to tell you what, so I am a MAC girl and have been, but then as of late, like a lot of us, we mix our makeup because we're saving money. We're getting at Bed Bath & Beyond for 20% off and whatever. Yes, they sell makeup. And I have tried every brush there is. I feel like it. And her brushes are ridiculously soft. I will never, ever change again. All right. That's enough of that, right?
All right. Moving along.
So moving on. So listen, we're going to talk to a few women before we end the show. We're going to end the show, by the way, a little later on. I don't know why I'm talking about the ending already, but with the 3 apps that we highly suggest you use. And I'm just going to show you a few tips. But let's talk to our ladies. So before we bring them on, let's show the beautiful picture that we have of these ladies that we are just so thrilled to have come on from New York, Colorado. And Laura Rubin, darn it, the internet, things happen. She'll join us at a later date. But we want to welcome to the show Nancy McKay. And yes, Kelly Myskowski. Did I get it?
Is that she's giving you the applause and the thumbs up. You did good, Barb.
Oh my Lord. Ladies, welcome. For Nancy, welcome back. I think this is your 3rd time, maybe.
Thank you. I love it.
And Kelly's a new insider, so we're jazzed to have a new insider and a veteran insider with us. So that's fantastic.
Yes. Funny how that happens. And Kelly, so what we want to do is have you introduce yourselves and your companies, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of it all. But Kelly, out of New York, tell us about what you do and tell our viewers. Again, we're live on 3 platforms, and we would love for them to know who you are.
Oh, well,
it's Cheers Toast.
Thank you.
We always forget to do Lupe. Like whatever.
Oh, well, I'm Kelly Myskowski of Inner Light Transformational Coaching and Craniosacral Therapy, which is a mouthful, but I decided that whole thing had to go together. I specialize in working with people who have reached that point in their life where they've had success on the outside, probably in the traditional sense. They have the job, they have the title, the career, the house, the family, all of that, but yet they still feel something is missing.
Yes.
And what I find is that women, when they reach midlife, typically start feeling this way, and it gets attributed perhaps to a midlife crisis and brushed off. It's very natural at this point in our lives to start wondering what more there is out there for us. And it helps if you recognize that's what's going on inside you and admit it so that you can then move to the next step.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay stressed out and unfulfilled the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I help them very naturally find out who they are here to be, who they are uniquely designed to be, to make their unique difference in the world, on purpose, aligned mind, body, soul, and spirit. There's something that's natural inside of each one of us that's looking to express in the world, and stress is an indicator that we are in some way not honoring that.
Yeah.
That's the general gist of it. So I use some very profound techniques of helping people tune in and getting past the beliefs that are limiting them and allowing them to fully express in the world and make their unique difference. Take all of their wisdom from all of their decades and bring it out in the world in a very unique way.
Well, and I want to dive a little bit into what does how they naturally express themselves. Nancy McKay, oh my gosh, I can't wait one day. I know Lupe is the same. Since you're in Colorado, to do what you do with horses.
With horses.
So tell us what you do, girl.
Well, I am a certified life and equus coach, and I help women who are stuck in the muck create a life filled with joy, purpose, and freedom. And one of the best ways to do that is with this unique experience of working with horses as co-facilitators, because they are magic. They're just magic. And they will expedite the transformation that you would get with normal life coaching. I have some great breakthroughs with my clients just virtually like this. But I'll tell you what, you get out in nature, you get yourself with a horse, and holy shit, magic happens. Magic happens. And I am so, it's magic for me, it's magic for the clients. And I think, it's magic for the horses because they love being of service and they love doing something. And when they get to work with people, when they connect, then, it really is. It's truly magical. And I am so excited to be able to do this work and really help women find this, discover things about themselves that they didn't really even know that was there. It's just incredible.
Well, and that's what's interesting about this stage in our lives is, and I know Lupe is going to have something to say too about this, is the fact that we feel as though we're okay with and are yearning to learn more about ourselves more than ever before.
Right.
In our 20s and 30s, it was just about making a dollar, partying, for those of you that did that. By the way, when I say party, I mean drinking, go to the bars with your friends. I don't mean anything else.
And a lot of it.
You know what I'm saying? And not really concerned with getting to know yourself. And it feels like, especially after 50, I feel like it's really an opener. And I don't know, Lupe, you're 47, you're in your 40s, and you're coming into it now and have been over the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, and it's an interesting journey. And I think that's what's so beautiful about Middlescence is that we all, it's not like it just hits you and you're like, okay, I've discovered. Like, it's a process. It's stuff that we've packed through the years. It's stuff that we've compartmentalized, and we've gotten used to operating in such a way that we don't honor everything that we've learned along the way, or that we've suppressed, and all the lessons that we still have to learn. And so for me, what's been beautiful about that journey is it's almost kind of peeling the layers off. And that's what I think what's really cool about how you ladies both do your, be of service, is that there are different strokes for different folks. And certain things will work with some, certain things won't work with others. But at the end of the day, is finding that person that helps you unlock everything that you've been putting away is true magic.
Exactly.
Yeah, and let's take a step back and talk pandemic and talk, which is still crazy to use that word in the 21st century. What have the two of you done to, first of all, how is your business injured? Because all of us felt something. Let's be real. So let's first talk about that and how you have, what measures you're taking.
Well, for me, you know, to be honest with you, I don't know how much my business was injured because, you know, I've been in business for a few years. I've been full-time coaching for almost 2 years now. And so, you know, the impact of people maybe, you know, losing their jobs or being furloughed or something like that, probably, you know, that may have been an issue, but I'm not sure that it translated into them not wanting to pursue coaching.
Okay.
You know, it's like, I don't, you know, like for instance, I didn't try to get any of the grant money or anything like that because I really didn't feel like I was impacted.
That's awesome.
You know, I mean, it's not that I couldn't have used it. I certainly could have used it, you know, but I really couldn't justify that the fact that I didn't have a full client calendar was based on the pandemic.
So did you, sorry to interrupt. So did you not see an impact in the in-person experience with your horses? That you still had the same amount of people coming out and being okay during COVID?
So to be honest, the horse thing didn't really start until August. I got my certification in August of this year. So it impacted me by having to delay the working with practice clients to get my certification. But once I did that, and you know, and we used safety measures and so on and so forth, but yeah, that went pretty quickly. So what's harder for me is the weather.
Wow.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
Right?
On the weekend.
So I was supposed to have 2 clients this week, and you know, here we are. So because there's too much snow on the ground.
Yeah.
So the weather is more of an impact as far as the equus coaching goes than the pandemic.
Okay.
Now, do you think that you weren't impacted because of your niche, because of perhaps women over 40, 50, and 60 are willing, now that they're being furloughed, now that they're experiencing these real changes in life, physical and, you know, and all the way around, mental, everything, that they we're going to getting coaches more often than not. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, because here's the deal.
Yeah.
If you're in pain, you know, if you are stuck in the muck, if you're over drinking, if you're sweating out a cancer diagnosis, if you're going through hell, you're going to figure it out. If you want to find some help, you're going to figure out a way to make that happen. So if, you know, if it's, you know, if shit has hit the fan, you're going to figure out a way to pay for coaching.
And I think that's especially true, again, of us right now. We are seeking that type of growth and development, so I could see that, where we're not going to once we've made that decision to seek help, because let's face it, women, a lot of times we feel vulnerable, so we don't want to ask for help.
Oh, hell yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that is jacked up that we're like that. A lot of
there's
jacked up.
Well, if I'm going to go back to the 80s with my terminology, that's jacked up.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You know, there's still stigma, you know, and you know, there's, you know, I'm a recovering alcoholic, so there's so much stigma around that. And that's why people, you know, I drank for a lot of years longer than I should have. More longer, that's good. Than I should have, because I was afraid of the stigma that was developed. So I just kept drinking until I couldn't do it anymore. So, you know, it was, and so what I do is I help women that are, they don't want to have to hit rock bottom, no matter what it is, whether it's drinking or food or anything. You know, if you don't want to go to rock bottom, then, you know, there's a way out, and coaching is the best way to do it.
Well, I agree. And Kelly, what about you and your clients and the fact that you said how they naturally express? Tell us about, first off, what hiccups, if any, because you're a coach as well. Tell us about what you've experienced, because we really want to help other people that are maybe in your area.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. My situation is probably in some ways similar to Nancy's and in some ways different. I am swiveling in my business to focus more on the women that I mentioned. But I've taken some time and enjoyed the pause because I much needed it. And I didn't have the nads to pause on my own intentionally. I have a blended business, so what I find is that the body work that I do, which helps relax the nervous system so that it can reset and then master the journey better into what you're here to be. It's the body work itself is a great complement to the coaching, and I do my coaching by phone so that we are connected in a way that minimizes the distractions. When we're on video like this, a lot of times we're watching each other and reading the signs in the background and looking at the pictures and all
Or
of
being
that.
funny, you.
Yes. So it helps people to tune in to their inner voice better that way. And what was happening for me is in my personal life, there were a lot of demands that I was meeting, which I have zero regret in doing that. But I reached the point where I was like, okay, it's time to focus on me and my business. And then the world shut down. And I said, well, thank you. I lost a lot of my income from work that I was doing that was in my field of expertise, but not in my preferred area of expertise.
Got it. Okay.
And that I knew when that happened, I had been asking for it on some level. I was asking for a solution, but I didn't know how that was going to come. I've been blessed my whole life, which I'm appreciating more and more and realizing more and more, with having in my human design the ability to kind of see the way and see the bigger picture and see where we need to go and kind of have a sense of what's happening. And I've always followed that for myself. So my transition into this work was in my 30s, almost 25 years ago, when I was asking for something more, but that little voice whispering to me was much, much quieter than it probably would be if I had waited until now. And following the natural course of things, I was developing the signs in my body that what I was doing wasn't happening for me. So I needed to make a change, and things gradually fell away. I lost my job. I went to massage school, and I knew through the body work I wanted to help people help their lives evolve. So being in this place of, okay, now it's time for me to focus on the market that I want to serve. Let me recover myself and rest and step aside from those family cares and concerns and potential obligations. I had to say no. And I was able to do that. And I'm actually in the middle of writing an article about this. It's not a series of steps that you take in saying no. It's about who you're being. So I have to know who I am. I have to know my purpose. I have to know my core values. I have to be committed to being who I am and what I'm here to share, and not living my shoulds and musts, and being willing to say no to what doesn't serve me. If it doesn't serve me, then I'm not 100% in what I'm giving to the world. And I am uniquely designed to give something to the world, to share and contribute. And a lot of times I use the analogy, your heart cells do something, your stomach cells do something, your muscle cells do something. Well, each one of us is a different kind of cell, and we have a purpose. And don't try to do somebody else's stuff, because it ain't going to work.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Great. They're telling you how to do that. But, so welcome to midlife. Welcome to the time when you're waking up and maybe you're not fitting in your job anymore. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like the right thing, and it's not as fulfilling, and you haven't got any regrets about what you've done, but will you regret it if you don't make a change today?
Yes.
And if you're willing to make the change, then I can help you figure out what's next by getting past that voice in your head that tells you you can't, you shouldn't, you won't work, you're not good enough, you're too old, you haven't got the time, you haven't got the money, that. How can we get past that? And actually, those things are anchored into our physiology. They're like little viral patterns. So just thinking positive thinking and mantras will help, but they won't release those beliefs and allow a new pattern of being in the body. And I put it all together to do that. So I've been focusing more on that. Knowing what's gotten me through is knowing the bigger picture and that it's all working out. And when it doesn't work out, there's a reason for it. There's a silver lining, and I may be the reason that it didn't work out because I didn't allow it to. Yep. So if I can get out of my way, get out of the way of the bigger picture.
So, you know what's interesting? I just private chatted Lupe just now. I said, girl, this is your jam. Yes, I went back to the 80s again with your jam. But you know what I loved that you said is you specifically, and we all are, uniquely designed to do what you're doing. You are uniquely designed. Now, my question to you is, and I'm curious what the two of you think. I feel as though there's a lot of pressure for women to find their passion. Otherwise, if they don't find it, they're going to suffer from the shoulds, the coulds, the woulds, right? But I also feel like, is it true that all of us are out there to find our passion? Or is it that we're just out there to find the thing we like to do? And yeah, it doesn't have to be a passion, but it's something you just enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I feel like there's pressure that women want to find this passion project, and that may not be for that everyone has a passion project.
Right.
Is this
it
true?
May be walking on the beach and picking up seashells. Yes. The point is to be happy, and we don't always know or see how we're affecting the world by doing that. And it can be casual conversations with somebody where you're in a great mood and you don't know the impact you had on their life. It can be somebody you pass on the beach in a casual conversation, and you said the thing that turned their life around, that kept them from jumping off a bridge. You don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could be something where you're going to go out and you're going to create a foundation that's going to help a certain segment of the population be their best, and you end up on the cover of the Times or being interviewed by Forbes or what have you. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, I think that's what I see the most that I'm trying to convey to people. Your purpose doesn't necessarily mean fame and fortune. And it isn't all rainbows and roses on the way to it. But there's a sense inside of alignment, of commitment, of belonging.
Exactly. You know what, and Kelly, I totally 100% agree with you. And I think for me, really what it's come down to, and this is where I'm at, I mean, I'm barely starting my journey. And I will give a shout out to, my girl, Maite Aluma, who really started this for me and kind of helping with Reiki energy and kind of moving my energy around and helping me just recognize who I am. And so for me, I feel that passion really stems with being true to yourself. Exactly. Making sure that you honor every little bit about you, what you like, what you don't like, because I totally agree with you. You are a gift. Every time that you walk out that door, just the fact that we're here, you are a gift. And so if you honor everything about yourself and see the silver linings like you were talking about, see the value that you bring, stop being someone else's checkbox and be your own.
Yes.
I feel that you then have the gifts, you have the confidence, you stop trying to be everything for everybody else. And by that same realization, you share your gifts. You open the door for you to be authentically yourself and have those conversations that maybe impact someone else in a way that you never knew, or the talents or whatever it might be. But I think that it all starts, the passion should be, reconnecting with ourselves and unlocking the beauty, the potential, the gifts that God has given us.
Exactly. It's interesting how put your own oxygen mask on first. People only think of in the air. Well, we've been grounded. It's time to listen to that on the ground.
Amen, sister.
Well, and one of the things that I want you guys, so it sounds like because of your businesses and the niche that you have, you may not have been as impacted. Kelly, you said in one of the other things that you do. But my question is, before we end this segment and move on to the next, is, we want to hear, all right, so you have this company, you didn't need the funding, you're doing fine, but or if you are sharing with your clients or your friends or family members, what are tips that you have for them that might not be a tip or something they don't know about, just keeping their doors open? Just enough time to get past. What have you done? So yeah, you haven't been impacted, but what are you doing to sustain your business during this time?
Ooh.
Looks like that's a good one, Barb.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Or perhaps another way to look at it, ladies, is like, what has helped create the biggest success in your company to this point? Is there something that you're doing that you're like, oh my gosh, this is driving my revenue forward in ways I didn't anticipate, that I want to share, with women out there?
And let's give yourselves 30 seconds to answer that one.
For me, it's my faith and trust in the bigger picture, and tuning into my own guidance system, my own intuition, discerning between when it's my ego fear based on my conditioning and my shoulds and how the world's supposed to work versus what's actually happening. And that's what's gotten me through a lot of different things. Yeah. And even, what's next for me right now, my office is in a beautiful bed and breakfast that's hotel style, and they're promoting staycation, and we're putting out a joint email to their list. I do mini retreats. You can stay here. You can have some quality time with me to get over your hump onto your next step.
It's a great idea.
Learn to tune into that.
I love that. What about you, Nancy?
Well, I'm with Kelly. I do a lot of inner work, and when I think that things are going sideways, I ask myself, is that true? Is it really going sideways? And is that a problem?
Yeah.
And, really relying on the belief I have in myself and my dream. And, there have been plenty of times that I think some people would have thrown in the towel, and that's not on my radar. I'm not going to go there. It's kind of like relapse with alcohol. That has never, that's not part of my story, and it's not going to be part of my story. And this is too important for me to give up. And I know that the best way that I can maintain and grow my business is to have confidence in myself.
Yes.
Belief in what I'm, belief in my message and what I'm trying to get out there.
What I'm hearing Nancy saying too, that's important, is making the decision and the intention, and following the intention to follow through. To know the direction you're going in. And that's huge. And I applaud you, Nancy, for your journey. That's just amazing.
Absolutely. And we want to thank the two of you for coming on. I know you only had a day and a half to get ready because we selected you in our workshop. And we just want to say thank you. And before you leave, let's quickly talk about some of those workshop pieces. Yes, the platforms that we talked about. You had talked about, Kelly, I think you were going to use Google Keep.
Yes. I saw it on Google. I never knew what it was until the workshop. And I was looking for a place to put things. For one thing, I have a Chrome window with 18 million tabs that I leave open. So when I shut down and restart my computer, I know where those websites are. Well, now they're all in Google Keep, and I've closed out those windows. So hopefully my internet works a little better. And, there's always quotes and things that I want to put there. And this, I like the white view. The dark view is easier on my eyes, but I like the colors when you have the white background.
Yeah,
it's a girl thing, I'll own it.
I get it. And for those of you that are curious about Google Keep, Lupe and I use this for our workflow. So we do keep all the projects and campaigns that we have, we keep here. And as you can see on screen, you can pin it, you could change the color. And what's really great is you can move these under or not, and you can just check these off and they don't go anywhere. So you could reuse this master by simply going down here and unchecking. And plus you can share it with your team and they can make a copy, but make their own workflows. And I keep, it's kind of like Pinterest, but for me, it's business, the business side of, when you come up with blog ideas, I have a ton of blog ideas that I can't stop thinking about that I need to do. So yeah, so that is a peek at Google Keep. Now, PDF Escape, that was the one you were going to look into. Is that correct, Nancy?
Yeah, and I started using Google Keep just because of the workshop, and I want you to do another one just on that because Kelly just brought up something that I, wasn't aware of, and so. But yeah, the PDF thing looks really cool and something that I want to dive deeper into because, I think that would really be helpful for me. And again, like I said the other day, I really would love for you to do workshops on each one of those platforms that you presented to us because, sometimes they're really game changers and we need to know more. So
I think that's one of my favorite ones, the PDF Escape. I love that. We've created contracts, agreements. We've obviously our downloadables right now for those in the insiders. When you download your templates, you'll see that you can actually, for those like myself that prefer to type versus unlike my work wife who prefers to write, you have your choice. But the idea that we can make it easier for you to use and integrate with the tools the way you want to is pretty cool. And it's free.
Yeah. And it's free. That's it. And even if you upgrade it, it's only $2.99. And no, we're not affiliate marketers of any of these except for Canva. But what's really great, right? What's really great about PDF Escape too, what I said at the opening of the show is if you go to Etsy and you plug in plans, business plans or what have you, I'm going to show you how you can monetize your forms that you're creating. So here's an example of Etsy of the fact that, and I've even bought some of these. Look at these. These are fillable forms that people are creating. Oh, you can't see that. That people are creating inside of Etsy that you go and buy. You literally go and, these other people's programs. Well, as coaches, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Right.
It's passive income. And some of these women, we did the math on it. Some of these people are making $40,000 to $50,000 on one workbook. I am not kidding you.
Wow.
So, but what we do, so make sure when you do any, and I know you coaches out there do this, business life, all of that, is we always work our forms. So before we even give them to you guys, we make sure that they make sense to us, and it's a form that we literally use within our systems. And then lastly is StreamYard. I was showing, everybody who watches the show sees that we have all of these capabilities. We create these obviously inside of Canva. If you want Canva Pro for 30 days free, we'll put the link down below. We are affiliate marketers. That's how we created this with the movement and the countdown clocks and such. There is so much. We could change our bubbles. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna put us back up, and I'm gonna show you the little bubble changes. So you can see our names now are in bubbles or blocks or minimal. Here's the default, boring. And you can also behind the scenes do those in your brand colors. Yeah. So I agree. Lupe and I talked about it. We're going to do a deep dive into, and we're going to bundle them according to what they do. So productivity apps, digital marketing apps, Google My Business, all of that. So we absolutely agree. We'll do a boot camp on that. But listen, we just wanted to thank you guys for being here today, for attending, for being insiders, but more importantly, and this sounds so cheesy, but being you! Your face is on screen. ladies.
Yay.
Thank you for joining
Thank
us,
you.
ladies. Have a great rest of your day.
This was
Thank
Bye,
you.
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Can you stay in the green room so we can take a picture?
You bet.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. I love these conversations. You know, I can keep going with these, and I know you can.
Oh, girl, I could talk this all day long because I learn something every time that we chat. So it's just
Every
a
time.
beautiful opportunity.
So the last thing that we want to announce is we do have a new location, or no, a location. Well, because we did the event halfway there last year. Thank you to the City and County of Denver, but more specifically to one of our board members of Second Act Women and big believer in Second Act Women and you all, Michael Beavis.
Yeah.
He's with the City and County of Denver. He oversees innovation and entrepreneurship for the city. And we've been able to work with them on hosting on Friday, September 24th,
Yay!
live Biz Life Con here in Denver. We're going to be live. We're going to be live. We're going to be live.
Girl, it's a hybrid. So those that can't join us in person, can still join us, via Zoom. But nonetheless, it'll be a great hybrid experience. Since 2020 kind of just came and went, we didn't get a chance to meet in person. So
yeah. So Lupe and I are so thrilled about that and the fact that we get to be live with you. And, we just want to end it with, I usually have a quote. Lupe has a quote as well. I forgot to ask her to pull one this time. So I'll pull one on behalf of us that I did this week. It's whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. That's pretty deep, right? Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So what did those ladies say? They put their confidence hat on. Sounds like they've always had their confidence hat. And they are wearing it with pride. And that's what you need to do, because the minute you say you can't, you won't. You won't.
I love that. Truth.
So, do you want to end out the show, Miss Lupe?
Oh, ladies, we are beyond blessed to be serving such an amazing community. Thank you for always showing up for us and for showing up for all the other women in our community. Please continue to do so that we can move women 40 and 50 plus forward. Have a beautiful rest of your week, and we will see you here next Thursday.